All right, let's talk about something that's running pretty much everything you use, but most people have never actually seen it. It kind of feels like a secret language for computers. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the Unix shell.
And I mean really talk to it, not by clicking on shiny icons, but by giving it direct, precise instructions to get things done, like right now. Well, the good news is, you absolutely can.
And that direct line is something called the Unix shell. So let's break down what that actually means.
Okay, so what is it? Well, think of the shell like your personal translator. It's the bridge between you and the computer's brain, what we call the kernel. You type a command, and the shell translates it into a language the kernel understands. If you're on a Mac or using Linux, you're almost certainly using a popular shell called bash, and that's the text-based world we're going to be exploring. So here's the key idea to hang on to. Using a graphical interface, with all the icons and windows, is like pointing at pictures on a menu. But using the shell, that's like speaking directly to the chef. It's a real conversation, and once you learn the language, it is incredibly powerful. And just like any language, this one has a grammar. But don't worry, it's actually super simple. You've got a command, that's your verb, the action you want to take. Then you have options. Think of these like adverbs that change how you do the action. And finally, arguments. Those are your nouns, the things you're doing the action to.
Okay, so with that basic grammar in our back pocket, let's learn our first few words. We'll start with just finding your way around. First up, PWD. It stands for Print Working Directory. This is basically your You Are Here map. No matter how deep you get into your folders, you just type PWD and it'll tell you exactly where you are. Simple as that. So once you know where you are, you're going to want to see what's around you, right? For that, we use the ls command. It lists all the stuff in your current location. But here's where it gets really interesting. Add that little -l option, and that simple list of names transforms into this detailed report. All of a sudden, you can see who can read or write the file, who owns it, how big it is. It's a huge leap in the amount of information you get.
And to actually move around, we use CD, which stands for Change Directory. It's really straightforward. CD and a folder name to go into it, CD ... to go back up one level, and CD tilde, that's your express ticket straight back home, no matter where you are.
All right, so we can get around. Now, let's actually start doing stuff. Let's see how we can use the shell to manage our digital workspace. Create things, copy them, and get organized.
Here is your core toolkit. To make a new folder, you use mkdir. Want a new blank file? That's touch. And to copy or move files, it's just cp and mv. You can even use mv to rename a file. See? 4 simple commands that handle tons of everyday tasks.
Now for a very, very important warning. The rm command. It removes files. But this isn't like dragging something to the trash can on your desktop. When you use rm, it is gone. Instantly, permanently. There's no undo. It's incredibly powerful, so you always want to double-check before you hit enter. So far, we've been managing files from the outside, but what about looking inside them? Let's check out how you can read and search for stuff right from the command line.
The easiest way to see what's in a file is with the cat command. You just type cat and the file name, and boom, the whole thing just prints out right on your screen. It's perfect for taking a quick peek inside smaller files. But what if you're looking for one specific thing inside a giant file? That's where grep becomes your best friend. It's your search tool. You give it a word to find and a file to search in, and it instantly spits out only the lines that have that word. So useful. Okay, so we've learned a handful of individual commands, and they're all pretty handy on their own. But the real genius, the absolute beauty of the shell, is how you can connect them all together. Think of them like Lego bricks. Right? One brick is fine, but the real magic happens when you start snapping them together to build something much bigger, much more interesting. So how do we connect our commands? And this is where the magic happens. That vertical bar, that's called a pipe, and what it does is amazing. It takes the output from one command and uses it as the input for the next one. So instead of grep searching a file on your disk, here it's searching the live results from our ls command. We're literally filtering a list on the fly. This simple idea is the foundation of almost all automation in the shell. So we've learned some basic words, a little grammar, and even how to form complex sentences with pipes. But why does this old-school text-based superpower still matter so much today? Because the shell is quite literally everywhere. It's the bedrock of operating systems like Linux and Mac OS. It's the main tool for anyone managing servers, working in the cloud, or automating complex tasks.
Knowing the shell isn't some retro skill. It's a fundamental, foundational requirement for tons of modern tech careers.
Look, we have barely scratched the surface here. But what you have now are the building blocks, the basic grammar of an incredibly powerful language that lets you have a direct conversation with your computer. So, the only question left is, what conversation are you going to start?